So, lockdown 2 is about to begin in the UK this Thursday. What does it mean? Well, we started this March the 22nd, 23rd of this year. Lockdown actually began over 200 days ago. And as business owners and as the general public, we complied with everything. We put down the stickers 2 metres apart. We stayed 2 metres and more apart. We were asked to walk in the street and avoid human contact. We walked in the street and avoided human contact. We built plastic walls everywhere and anywhere to avoid people breathing on each other and spent millions upon millions in the process. We told everybody to sanitise it and keep clean and get cleaner and get even cleaner and sanitise again. We asked people to sanitise as they walked in and as they left shops. We made people stand in queues in the cold. We took up tables from our businesses. We took up products from our businesses. We closed changing rooms. You name it, we did it. Every single thing we were asked to do, we did it. And what happened? We are in a worse position now than we were in March. That's obvious. And yet again, despite us doing everything, we are still being told we are not secure, we are not safe. And Boris Johnson today has said it will be double or triple, quadruple the times of deaths the next 2 months than before. And remember, this is the same government who told us there would be 510,000 deaths last time. And what happens? Businesses are saying, yes, okay, we'll close. Why? Because we have to. But as a business owner or a member of the public, are you asking yourself this question? What comes after lockdown? Despite all the COVID-safe things we did and we were supposed to do and we complied with, we are still not what they call COVID-safe. The things that are showing the highest degrees of COVID infections, nursing homes, retirement homes and universities and schools are to remain open during this lockdown. And the places where COVID is relatively unseen, like gyms, like fully chlorinated, disinfected swimming pools, or like retail units where you are lucky if there's 3 people in there in a place of 5,000 square foot at the same time, we are told that these places are still dangerous and they will still kill you, and having contact with another human being will be the worst possible thing that you can do. And yet when the government say we want everyone to lock down and lock away, most people say, okay then, we will follow the rules. There's a guy near to where I live who has not left his apartment since March. There's a young woman down the road 4 weeks ago was found hanging dead from scaffolding. There's a young man who was just 30 who hung himself at home. Just this week, yesterday in fact, another young guy threw himself under a train. Why? Because of this deep embedded fear of impending doom through COVID. Again, let me emphasise and say, does COVID exist? Of course it exists. But this is looking more like something we have to live with. If we had cancer details and news on the news every day, people would be terrified because the numbers are far greater than anything we can even talk about during this COVID. But the point being is, why are we so passive? Why are we saying, okay, you say close, we will close? Why are we doing this? What has turned us into these creatures of obedience? And it's the continual embedding of the words and the feeling and the dread and the fear of impending death. Here's one thing we do know about life is we all die. But nobody wants to die too early or accidentally or even die at all. So we understand it from that perspective. But the governments are now telling us that we cannot be responsible for our own health. They are telling us we cannot be responsible for our own risk. They are telling us we can no longer run businesses that are non-compliant with compliance that has been proven not to work. And after lockdown 2, you can be rest assured there will be a lockdown 3 and a lockdown 4 and a lockdown 5 until this country is ruined and fallen into absolute bankruptcy. Days are coming that you will not want. And let's be honest here. If the government in North Korea were imposing the things that we are imposing, we would be saying this is a despotic government oppressing its people. We are living with an oppressive, despotic government that is actively oppressing its people. The wealth and the poor gap is widening dramatically by the day. Only those who are making money are those selling sanitizers, face masks, and the promise of a vaccine. And yet the sickening thing is, will locking down every business reduce the infection? Yes, it may reduce the numbers, but will it get rid of the virus? No. So why are we doing this? Why are we destroying our economy? Why are we destroying our country? Why are we destroying our young people's futures? Why are we putting ourselves into states of poverty where we cannot pay bills and some people will be evicted from their houses? Why are we destroying all this stuff? It has to be paid for. Just because you're being told to not go to work and you will be given furlough for 80%, that money has to come from somewhere. But the biggest question is, what is the point of lockdown? Does it solve anything? No. It doesn't solve anything. We are not looking at this different enough. We are not looking at this from a fresher angle. We have not stopped and said, what is going on? We've tried all this. Nothing works. So why we continue to do this? Has this become more about politics, power, and significance of those in power who have now possibly gained salvation, godlike approaches to something that they probably cannot solve? And in the meantime, you as a business, you as a householder, you as a family are being made to suffer mentally, where they are locking our kids up in universities, turning them into prisons just for the sake of taking that fee. And now they're suggesting teaching as a face-to-face occupation should be removed altogether. Are they trying to turn us into some kind of third world country? What the hell is going on? I would suggest that every business in this country should make a stand against this. The time is coming fast when we have to make a stand, or we will lose our wealth, our independence, our ability to make decisions for ourselves. This is no conspiracy. This is just pure stupidity and a non-thinking ability at its absolute most extreme. And you are paying the price. Why are you not making a stand if you haven't made a stand? What can you do to make a stand, to make an impact? We probably won't be able to change the opinions of the politicians, because politicians are so intertwined, they will act on peer pressure rather than factual evidence. And they will act on evidence that is more of this could, might happen than this will happen. We now have enough facts from the beginning of this, at the beginning of 2020, to make different choices and different decisions. But if you're the kind of business that is just going to say, okay, we'll close our door for the next 4 weeks, I don't know what to say. All I know is there's a bigger picture to this, and after lockdown 2, we will end up in the same position. In lockdown 3, we will end up in the same position, unless, of course, and I'm no prophet, unless, of course, the virus just fizzles out like the Spanish flu did. Maybe it'll just fizzle out. And yet the bigger fact is most people are not even harmed by this virus. We know who is harmed. We know who is in danger. Why are we not investing all this cash to protect these people? And of course, other people may be affected by it outside and die. But that's what happens with flu. That's what happens with measles. That's what happens with mumps. That's what happens with all kinds of diseases. Last week alone, a 30-year-old singer of a band whose wife is just about to have a baby, in fact, I think she's had the baby, is facing certain death because of an inoperable brain tumour. Stuff happens in life. If you want to end your life legally tomorrow, you can go to Switzerland and take control of your life and end it. Yet we are being told we don't have the ability or the brains to take control of this health pandemic ourselves. Some smart countries like Sweden, like Taiwan and some other countries, they have put it in the responsibility of the public, and they've done very, very well with it. China are now back to normal. Yet over here it's illegal to sleep with your partner if she or he doesn't live with you. It's illegal to kiss someone if they are not your partner. You may have to bury your mother without being able to visit your mother before she dies. What the hell is going on? What action are you going to take to fight this lockdown? What action are you going to take to resist this lockdown? What action are you going to take to make sure these people in power lose that power? What action are you going to take? I would suggest that every single business in the UK resists lockdown and opens up during lockdown and tries to carry on as normal of life as possible. We know none of this COVID secure stuff works. If it worked, we wouldn't be here right now. What are you going to do?